the thing to keep the door open.
Because if the elevator don't work,
Oh,
and Candace got stuck in it. I mean, not Candace.
yes.
Hey, I like that one. Is the mayor here?
No, he's not here.
I'd like to get clarification on that.
We're going to,
Wait a minute.
let us start the meeting
Started
first.
the meeting yet.
No, cause y'all wanna give people 3 minutes to talk. I'd like to get clarification. If y'all run this meeting by parliamentary procedure and Robert Rules law, I can get clarification.
Yes, we are, Mr. Brown.
You the lawyer, right? You say can't shoot the day, right? I'd like to know tonight, this night, what y'all gonna do in the city. Them white folks come in front of my house, kill my brother. Nobody come down here, nothing. It's a damn shame when this world going on. It's all over the world. And that police pick up his head and slam it back down in his face. I look at him, call me, how about that man? Don't let him be killed. Police call me back. If anybody report to the church, y'all gonna have to do something. Y'all gonna have to, I either let somebody come back and y'all wanna work. If y'all wanna do that, it's up to y'all. Because of disgrace in this world, what's going on in this city. And y'all will do nothing. I actually with the chief of police and the mayor, the sergeant come here like to do that. With the chief of police, come up there, man.
Mr. Brown, what you're not going to do is run my meeting. So please let me get started. And
I
I,
got clarification, I'm supposed to speak.
okay,
I got 10 to 15
once the
minutes.
meeting has started, it has not
But
started.
I'm not, that's why I gave you for the meeting to stop. And that's the way you're supposed to do for a meeting to stop.
No, not
Okay,
here.
okay. I'm waiting my turn.
You're not, you need to start the meeting, so please have a seat. Thank you.
What y'all running from me for? I ain't
Because
doing that, that's the wrong
Branch
man.
was literally just killed. Y'all wanna see pictures? He's literally sitting there fighting for his life, and he literally died today.
Y'all let them
He literally
white
died at
folks
6
kill my
o'clock
damn
today.
kid, and y'all still running up to me like I'm a drummer.
Nobody ran up to
You
him.
would, if that's your kid, you would think.
Sit down so that
If that's your kid, you would think.
But he's saying what he's saying. But the meeting needs to start. Well, he's saying,
The meeting don't have to
he's
stop.
not up there. We're not gonna be this
Follow
matter.
that procedure and all
It's this
rules,
matter.
all
It's
rules.
sort it out, and then you
I said,
try to
follow
get
that
it next
procedure,
week.
and Robert, I asked him, if you let me by. You know what follow that procedure means?
Out of the meeting. We're
Do
not
you
gonna
know
go back.
follow that procedure means? I'll sit down, please. I sit down.
The Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 council meeting is now in session. And at this time, we're going to have invocation by Reverend Rashida Myers Lee from SGS Ministries of Chester, PA. Please stand.
Good evening. We thank you today. Heavenly Father, thank you for gathering us here today. We are grateful for your grace that has brought us together safely and for the gifts you have blessed us with. Mayor and council, today we thank you for allowing us here today. We ask for your guidance, Father, as we begin this meeting. We already see there is tension, God. So we ask you to settle the hearts of your people. Grant us wisdom, clarity, and insight as we discuss the matters before us. Help us to set aside our own agendas and to listen with open minds and respectful hearts. Unite our hearts and minds in a common purpose and foster humility as we value each person's perspective. God, guide our discussions and decisions so that they may honor you and serve the shared goals of our community. Grant us the wisdom and vision and courage to work for justice, to build bridges, and to strive for the unified betterment of our city. We commit to using our gifts responsibly to serve the needs of all people, bringing glory to you in all that we do. Cover the families of this community. Father, those that have lost their loved ones in senseless violence. Father, cover the families right now. Touch them from the top of their head to the soles of their feet. Give them peace and comfort, God. Father, we ask you to cover our children, cover our seniors, cover our school system, the administration, the police departments, our fire departments, and all upcoming programs that will be governed in our community. Father, we need peace, love, and unity for all. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. We'll have the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Lee, thank you so much for those words of encouragement. Thank you. Madam Clerk will now have roll call.
Councilors Gibson Williams.
Present.
Green.
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Deputy Mayor West.
Present. I'd like to get an approval for the minutes of the previous meeting from August 27th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes. At this time, we'll have public comments on any of the agenda items. Is there anyone here who would like to have a public comment on an agenda item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Deputy Mayor, are you moving into old business and new business first?
Old business, is there any old business? Any new business? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester advertised a request for bids, known as a RFB, on July 15, 2025, for the collection of residential refuse and recycling, bid number 2025-009, for an estimated 9,900 residential households for an initial term of 5 years. And whereas the City of Chester received 2 bids on August 12, 2025, in response to the advertised RFB. And whereas the bids were thoroughly reviewed and evaluated to determine the lowest responsible bidder. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby award the contract for residential refuse and recycling, bid number 2025-009, to Waste Industries of Delaware Incorporated, also known as Casella Mid-Atlantic LLC, 903 Lamson Lane, Newcastle, Delaware, 19720, as the lowest responsible bidder for the pickup and collection of residential household waste and recycling pursuant to the advertised specifications at a fixed cost of $13.93 per household per month, with an annual cost escalator of 3% per annum. As a result, the yearly annual cost beginning January 1st, 2026, which follows, equates to a 5-year total price of $8,786,003.91. Year 1, $1,654,884. Year 2, $1,704,530.52. Let me repeat that because I don't think I read it right. $1,704,530.52. Year 3, $1,755,666.44. Year 4, $1,808,336.43. Year 5, $1,862,586.52. The 5-year total, $8,786,003.91. Further, the city accepts and approves the variable rates for dumpster and roll-off services as requested in the specifications for dumpster and roll-off services per the attached. Further, this 5-year award also reserves the right for the City of Chester to extend the contract and renew services for year 6 and year 7. Further, that all other bids for the above be, and they are hereby rejected. All certified checks and/or bid bonds accompanying said bids shall be returned to the unsuccessful bidders. Further, that the designated official shall prepare the contract, and the successful bidder shall furnish the required bonds for the contract in accordance with the specifications and to the satisfaction of City Council. Further, said contract is contingent upon final review and approval of the city solicitor.
So moved. Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the City of Chester made a request for proposal, RFPs, for on-call electrical services and submissions were due on March 25th, 2025. And whereas in connection therewith, the RFPs were opened and reviewed by the city's senior project manager of purchasing and procurement and a designated committee. And whereas after careful consideration, it has been determined based on project budget concerns, there is a need to reconsider the scope of the project, and awarding the contract is not in the best interest of the city. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that all the requests for proposals submitted in response to the city's request for proposals for on-call electrical services be, and the same are hereby rejected. Further, that notice shall be provided to the companies who submitted a proposal that all proposals are rejected at this time.
So moved. Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes.
Resolution, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the proper city official to prepare an advertisement for request for proposal, known as an RFP, for on-call towing to be made available via pen bid. Further, it does hereby authorize the city clerk to advertise the aforementioned notice.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson Williams.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas the Chester City Council adopted ordinance number 6 of 2019 on September 25, 2019, establishing a residential permit parking program within the city of Chester. And whereas Chester City Council adopted resolution number 49-2021 on April 14, 2021, which designated 3 residential permit parking zones within the city of Chester. And whereas residential permit parking zone number 1 included the Nova Vista section of the city of Chester. And whereas with the recent closure of Crozier Chester Medical Center, the need to maintain a residential permit parking zone for the residents in the Nova Vista neighborhood is not presently necessary. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby formally eliminate the Nova Vista neighborhood as further detailed on the attached list from the residential permit parking zone effective October 1st, 2025. Further, the designated on-street fee parking on the streets identified on the attached list is also hereby eliminated effective October 1st, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson, Wham,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes.
Resolution, whereas it is necessary and prudent for the City of Chester to establish procedures for public utilities to follow when filing records with the City of Chester containing confidential security information. And whereas it is necessary and prudent for the City of Chester to establish procedures to address challenges by members of the public to a public utilities designation of confidential security information or request to examine records containing confidential security information in both adversarial and non-adversarial proceedings pending before the City of Chester or a court of competent jurisdiction. And whereas it is necessary and prudent for the City of Chester to establish procedures for dissemination of public utility records that are public in nature and subject to the right to know law. And whereas Chester City Council approved Resolution Number 88-2025 on July 23, 2025, to establish such procedures and policies to address the receipt, retention, request, responses, and dissemination of information containing confidential security information received by the City of Chester from a public utility. And whereas the City of Chester desires to repeal Section 4H from the policy. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does adopt the attached revised policy to establish procedures for the retention and maintenance of public utility records that are to be treated as containing confidential security information.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson, Wham,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor West.
Yes. Do we have a list of? Are there any presentations?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're going to have a report from our Chief Financial Officer, Richard Troutman.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Council, public, and also relevant to the employees. This presentation is required as part of the Pennsylvania Code. I'm going to take a few brief minutes to just present to you. The topic regards what's called the MMO, the 2026 Minimum Municipal Obligation for the pensions. And we'll be revisiting this multiple times between now and the approval of the budgets. So the first thing we're going to talk about is $10.7 million is the calculation that's been done by our actuaries. It is $128,000 less than last year, so that's favorable. So you can see the breakdown by the three pension plans that we have. Total $10.7 million. This is the mandatory part that's required within the Pennsylvania Code. Next slide, please. It's calculated independent of the 40 million-ish of old unpaid MMOs. There's a separate calculation. It's, I think, important to keep in front of us that the city has been paying the MMO over the last few years, but the way it's reported, it gets applied to the oldest balance, the unpaid balances. It's very similar to anybody's credit card. If you make payments on your balance, it gets applied to the oldest balance, not the newest. So even if you're paying current. So it's that type of similar type of scenario. What I find interesting, I think would be helpful, is to show the next slide, please. What makes up the 10.7 million? There's this current calculation based off of your projected payroll. There are administrative fees that we pay to the actuaries to do the calculations and manage this. There is an employee contribution component. And then the biggest piece, which is circled, is over 3/4 of the money is for old scenarios that have to be reflected. So what happens is those typically are things such as if you change your plan component or structure, then you have to account for that, for the impact it would have moving forward, good or bad. Changes that happen from the natural investments, do they come in better than expected or less than expected? Those are the two biggest type of adjustments that happen that you spread out over time that have to be factored in. But we have well over $50 million of these types of residual adjustments that we have to keep absorbing. And so I think it's relevant to see that it's not just the current, it's a major piece of this is paying for the past years of these adjustments. And then I would go to the next slide. The word minimum is very misleading. You'll see the 10.7 million, but we actually, based on the rules of Act 205 primarily, we are required to pay next year 13.9 million. And this is a work in progress, but this is our best number at this point in time. So this extra 3.3 million that we're going to be paying, the total ends up being about 23% of our projected budget next year. It is a substantial cost expenditure. And basically the three biggest points I would make is the Commonwealth pays about $2 million a year in aid to the municipality, just like they pay to every municipality. They pay a formula. We are required to apply 100% of the distressed earned income tax. So it's important to note that 100% of what every working person pays in under this program goes to pensions. It doesn't go to help us subsidize operations. It goes to pensions. And then the third point is, as a factor within the rules on the distressed earned income, we're required to pay a percentage of our payroll on top of that. And this stuff is really complicated within the weeds. So it's trying to keep it at a high level, but that's how we get the 13.9 million. And again, we'll revisit this as we go through the budgeting process, but I wanted to get it into the record for you to know that we're compliant with the rules. Unless there's any questions, that's the presentation.
Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troutman.
Anyone that wants to speak during public comment, there is a signing sheet. I know a few of you have got here late, so if you do want to speak during public comment, now is the time to sign the paper. You're all set, Jeff.
Okay, we'll now have a presentation by Mr. Justin Tibbles.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and members of the public. My name is Justin Tibbles, Special Assistant to Mayor Roots, and I've also been serving as the city's advisor for the Block Captain Committee and the Block Captain Program. We've been having a great season so far this year. We just launched it this year, and we've been doing monthly cleanups in different neighborhoods across the city, Highland Gardens, Sun Village, Sun Hill, 21st, and Edgemont. And we've accepted over 40 residents across the city as official block captains. So you'll start to see some signage go up across the city, and more there'll be people who can be good point people for communicating with the city and also hopefully helping neighbors on their block clean up on their block. But I'm here this evening because I wanted to highlight a very exciting thing, which is we are trying to end this season, the good weather season, with a citywide Chester Pride community cleanup. That's going to be happening the last Saturday in September, September 27th. It'll be going from 10 a.m. to noon at like 11 different sites across the city. And so at each of those 11 sites, we'll have supplies like gloves, vests, trash bags, some trash pickers, hopefully dumpsters at a lot of those locations. But also, we'd love if you would just go right outside your front door or back in your alley and just pick up some litter right where you're at. If we all just do a little bit that day, you'd be surprised the kind of impact we can have to beautify the city and really clean up. So I want to invite everybody to consider registering, get your neighbors, get your organizations, your coworkers involved. Talk to your churches, places of worship, and other organizations that you're involved with to register. It's very simple. We basically just tell us which site you're going to so that we can make sure we have enough supplies and just sign a simple waiver. You can also do that on site, but please register ahead of time so we can prepare and have enough materials. In addition, so the cleanup's going to be from 10 a.m. to noon. Immediately following that, from noon to 2 p.m., we'll do a little celebration. So since we're going to be all spread out across the city cleaning up, we thought it would be fun to actually come back together and all be in one place. So from noon to 2, we'll gather together at Sun Village Park, which has recently had a lot of really great upgrades. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, we'll have free water ice, pretzels, music, some awards, different things like that. So I encourage the community to come out. It would be great if you volunteered and then came to the celebration, but the whole community is invited to the celebration at Sun Village Park. So that's my quick plug. Looking forward to Saturday, September 27th, the citywide cleanup.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tibbles. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Tibbles on the community block cleanup?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you say emergency, right, and I have no watching, do y'all, are y'all posting within the sky? Out on like until,
Doing a cleanup over there?
no, do y'all, like, yes.
The question was, have we done a cleanup at...
Are y'all going to come over to the sky?
Oh, gotcha. Will we come over there? I don't remember looking at the list if that is a particular site. We try to spread them out pretty evenly across the city, but if there's a particular neighborhood where there are residents who really want us to come there, that's part of how we decide, how the block captain committee decides what's the next monthly cleanup going to be. So I'll relay this to the block captain committee that Daniel Scott is asking for us to come out. In terms of the citywide cleanup, I would say, part of what we're hoping is that residents in their neighborhoods, in their blocks, will just come out and clean up right where they're at. So if you need help getting some materials or supplies, please connect with us as well, and we could help make that another site. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes, ma'am. I can give a quick answer to that question, and we won't dive in too much, but this administration is working across many different departments and initiatives to try to clean up the city. So there's license and inspection initiatives that we're doing, code enforcement. Our Public Works Department has been working hard to get things cleaned up, our Parks Department. This is the Block Captain program is just one initiative that's more grassroots, resident-involved initiative to beautify the city. So, this is just a volunteer thing of people who want to come out and make their city, make their space look good.
Excuse me, Ms. Nona, our Director of L&I. Could you just talk just a little bit about what your department is doing in terms of getting with these landlords who are not keeping their properties up? Just a little, just a little. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, we are taking action with the landlords in the city who are not keeping their properties up. We are letting them know that this is not tolerated, whether they are here or whether they are absentee landlords. We are working on creating other programs that will hold them accountable for the work that they are not doing. We are looking into other policies and everything that we could put on the books to actually, when you hit somebody's pockets, you know what I'm saying, then it's more than likely that they're going to show up. So we are working with the council members and speaking with them to find out how we can actually partner to bring about this change. So when we get calls from the public where they are complaining about issues, we are responding. I sit in my office, and when my phone rings, I answer, and we make sure that we address whatever comes our way. So it's a work in progress, and we're just getting started cleaning things up and responding to the complaints of our residents.
and what number can people call, the residents call to, lodge their complaints? There's a
The 7700, 447-7700, and get connected to L&I.
okay.
And I'm finding that people are not having a hard time finding us and calling us.
Okay.
And we are really trying to respond to those
Okay.
calls.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
for
Excuse me, Councilman, I had my hand raised for a question for Justin.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
So Justin, I have a question as far as the block captains. What would that actually entail? Would that entail them to report any problems that's going on in the communities, or how to better the community and for the communities to come together? For the block captains, or it's just, can you give me a little bit more in detail of that block captain process is?
Yeah. So the Block Captain program, we just launched it, and we're sort of figuring it out. But the two main roles of the Block Captain that we have defined right now, one is cleanup. We really just want people who will lead cleanups on their blocks and get people to participate in these bigger cleanups that we do. And the other is communication. So cleanup and communication, just communicating about with their neighbors about what's going on in the city, resources that might be available, events, but also to communicate from residents, their neighbors, back up to the city. If there's a dump site or an abandoned vehicle, different cleanup related things that their neighbors might want to relay to City Hall, they can talk to a block captain and then kind of send that up the chain. That'll be another way to just communicate with City Hall. So those are kind of the two main roles that we see block captains having. And if you want to be a block captain, you can just fill out an application. The committee will review that and, be happy to have more captains across the city.
Well, just to answer that, when you say that, we have some folks that's coming in here that have some complaints about things. In my opinion, I think that could be a block captain, because this young man right here had something tragedy happen to his family. And, me coming to the council meeting, just like everybody else, have some things that we want to express that we know council is working on, but we have a lot going on in this community. So some of us, we may not sign up for you guys as block
Yeah, and that's been the case with a lot of the block captains that we have, that they basically already are block captains, and it's just getting them plugged into the program, getting people organized and resourced. You can contact me or the block captains. If you hit this link here, that should take you to a place that'll have that information.
Oh, okay, Mr. Brown, you're going to be first on the comment list.
Wait a minute, where you running? I want to know one thing about the block captain.
Yes.
If they like ward leaders or what, 'cause this city needs that ward leaders be. Since y'all come here, we don't have ward leaders.
Yeah, the block captain program is not a political thing.
I didn't say political. I said ward leaders need to say that. So many people go so many blocks.
Mhm.
Because I used to be like that down on the west end. That's why all the people down there call me blocks. You
Oh.
go around and you make sure you get paid. What you looking like that for? I'm talking to you.
Yes, sir.
You go out there and you make sure that you get things cleaned up. Now, I told y'all 2 months ago, but that tree up there, 4495 on Curlin Street, that limb hanged up in that tree. I come by there about 3 hours ago. It's still there. You see that tree up there, you pull it up and fall and fuss up all them people. That gonna happen to be the same thing, that would be y'all. But don't say, don't put it up, y'all put it on paper, that I did show y'all 3 different times. Now you come down Curlin Street, you got the mattress, you got old furniture. From the gas station, the first gas station, right now Curlin Street, you got, look on that side over there. Y'all ain't doing nothing.
Thank you, Justin.
So they don't need you if you ain't gonna work.
Thank you,
They don't
Justin.
need you.
Now we're going to have a little announcement from Councilman Green.
I just want to invite everyone out to the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival that will be happening this Saturday in front of Chester City Hall, expanding from City Hall all the way down to the train station. We have 16 acts with the headliner Kiki Wyatt and 15 local acts that will be performing. It's going to be a great festival, a bunch of food vendors. We have a kid zone with 7 moon bounces, 2 gaming trucks, arts and crafts, face painting. We have a health zone with 24 healthcare providers providing resources and services, and we have a bunch of food vendors. So it's going to be a great day. Weather's going to be great, so I hope you, your family, your friends, you guys can come on out and enjoy the Peace, Love, and Unity Festival this Saturday starting at 12 p.m.
Thank you, Councilman Green. Are there any other comments from any other council members? I'll entertain that now. No? What were you?
Commissioner doing the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor West and members of the council, public. I'm just here to make an announcement that on October is Fire Prevention Month, and Fire Prevention Week for this year is October 5th to the 11th. On the 11th, the fire department will be hosting a open house / fire prevention event at the fire station. We're going to have same thing, moon bounce, face painting, music. We're going to do some fire prevention demonstrations, and we're also going to be showcasing, the fire department and all that is that we do. We invite everyone to come out and join us for this event. Same thing, we're going to have water ice and soft pretzels. It will be from 1 till 4. Initially, the rain date was the 18th, but Justin has informed me that's homecoming, so we're going to make the rain date the 12th, not to compete with that, because I don't think we'll be able to compete with that at all. But advertisements, I'm going to be working with Justin and Adrian, and we should have the advertisements out for that in the next, probably end of this week, beginning of next. But I just want everyone to save the date on their calendar, October 11th, a fire prevention / open house at the fire department. Come out, meet your firefighters, and join us for some education. And we'll also have organizations like the Red Cross and some other organizations there as well. So save the date. Thank you.
What time?
From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. My apologies. It's going to be the main fire station at 320 East 14th Street, station number 2. But that'll, like I said, I wanted to get it done earlier a little this week, but some things came up and got a little bit behind the schedule, but we're going to be getting the advertisement out there so you guys have it.
Are there any questions from council? Any more questions from council?
No. Oh, thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Do y'all still have that firehouse over on Children's Street? Yes, we do, sir. Well, why y'all have half over there and half there? Because a lot of them kids can't go on these stuff.
I'm sorry.
Half of the kids cannot go on these stuff. I'm letting you know.
Well, unfortunately,
I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Go see how they did.
Okay, now it's time for public comment, and Mr. Brown William, you're first on the list.
See that damn thing, when we get to talk, we get to talk for 3 minutes, but everybody can talk all night. Now, I stopped by here this evening to tell y'all about it. It's a disgrace what happened to my family over the weekend. I seen it with my own eye. When that boy called me and told me to help him. And if they had said they had a warrant, you don't need no 12 or 15. Why they got the police out of training? Why they got them out of Chester Township? You don't need all the police there. I tell them to call the mayor and the chief. They tell me they can't do that. And that's who you're supposed to get in touch with when things like that happen. It's a disgrace the way they whipped that boy and shoot him with that sting gun. They need to be locked up. They need to be fired. But y'all ain't doing your job. Any other city would fire him. Look up on your phone in Camden, South Carolina, and see all them people they fired, them police, for doing that dirty work. They're only destroying our people. They try to put us back in Jim Crow time, where it used to be in the 59 and 60, when them white folks used to make them children jump off the bridge. They're bringing that back fast. But y'all too, please, I think Fred would be a good man to be the mayor here. I might be wrong, but I think he would be a damn good man. Because I got confidence in him. But the rest of them, and another thing, we need to bring a mixed board back here, like it used to be when Jimmy Sharp and Leo Horn them in here. Because all of one kind, we ain't doing nothing. We just like a sore thumb. It's a disgrace. And what you should do, I don't have nothing to do with you, do what you want. The young lady is supposed to be the chief of police. I don't know if from Patford down. I just only know when I started to come over here. Y'all need to go ahead and make her the head chief if you're gonna make it. By name. You go to Delaware, you go to Jersey, you go anywhere. I go to different meetings all over the world. I even when I go to South Carolina, I go to the meeting. They got a lady, a man, what they call a pure chief. Go down to Washington and see that pretty thing standing up in there. I've been down there 3 weeks ago. Standing right by the mayor, the chief of police, and she are the chief. And they respect her as the chief. But yeah, these people do what they want. Y'all got to get off the pot and do your job. And no, we're wasting time voting. I've been coming over here now with y'all for about 2 or 3 years. I had yet to hear y'all read a ministry. But what you buying with people tax money? Back there when Jack Nicorelli, John McClory, Joe Ballard, every month they read if they buy a tractor, lawnmower, scissor, shovel, they read it out. Let people know where their money going. Y'all ain't reading nothing since I've been coming over here. Who is the Secretary of Treasury? Who is the Secretary of Treasury? You say you acting as the mayor tonight. Who is the Secretary of Treasury?
The Secretary Treasurer.
Yeah.
We do have someone who's over the Department of Accounts and Finance.
Well,
Mr. Troutman was up here.
Well, he don't never read nothing. He act like he's sleepy over there. He should be home. He should be home and retire. Put somebody young there who are able to do the job. Well, see, I'm not scared of nobody. I used to run big work. I had 450 people working under me. And I know what it takes. This man ain't never did. I ain't seen him reading nothing since he been here. Just like I asked the fire chief tonight, up here to this meeting. Is all these people supposed to be up in here with the elevator ain't working? Say if one of these old people up here, also I'm old. I'm just about 80. How we gonna run down that step, everybody? Them people don't know where the other elevator way back around the corner. You need compassion in here where you can get out. When we go to different meetings, like I went to Delaware 2 weeks ago at that meeting, they had it downstairs because so many old people walking with walkers and stuff. They want to see about their property. Because they try to put that stone water, sewage and stuff down their way now. And so they want to know what's going on. So it's pitiful. We need to wake up. Y'all want us to vote for y'all coming this election. We're wasting time if y'all not going to do your JOB. So we need it. And y'all, I hope and pray in the Lord that y'all change y'all's heart. Because like you ain't got none. But I tell you, Fred would be a good man for this man. I would think so. I might be wrong, but I would think so. Look at here, look at here. When I come in here with Joe Ballard there, they just have half of the city workers in here to make a coat, because they didn't have enough people because they had to meet at 10 o'clock in the daytime. Look at standing around the wall. You got a police right there. You got a chief over here. That's enough police up here. We ain't coming here to fight. We ain't coming here to steal. Them fellas should be on their job. Maybe they can help out. If some of them with them white boys, my little grandson, I wouldn't have get killed. That's premeditated. The ambulance was sitting on the corner of Wilson Street. Boy, I can walk 10 steps. The ambulance was there. I can call the ambulance, it won't be there in 2 days. How you get there so quick? That was premeditated. They had that thing set up. They come there to kill him. And I asked him, I even asked the sergeant. I said, y'all come to kill him. Y'all ain't come there to play. But God, it might not happen to them, but it might happen to somebody so close to them. It might happen to their mama. They go in there and look in the bed and mama and daddy did. And they'll feel the pressure. You know, God said he'll send a message to you, a sign. Don't never forget it.
Mr. Brown William, first of all, you have our deepest condolences, and I know that doesn't take away your pain, but I'd like to defer to Commissioner Blackwell at this time, since we're talking about the young man who lost his life today. I believe it was today.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of City Council. And as you said, I know it won't take away what the family is going through, but I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of Nathan Blackwell during this difficult time. I have personally reviewed the body camera footage from the incident, and I can assure you that the narrative circulating does not reflect what occurred. In the interest of transparency, I have formally requested that the District Attorney's Office Special Investigation Unit conduct an independent review of the footage. I respectfully ask that we allow this investigation to run its full course so the facts can be presented clearly and fairly.
And that's your report.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Darren Laws.
Good evening, Councilwoman and Council. My name is Darren Laws, the long-term resident here in the city of Chester. I have a few concerns that I'm sure you guys are aware of and the community is aware of also. As a community activist, a dean of students for our students here at Chester Upland School District, I have a concern. Stetzer Elementary School, we have four recovery houses right behind Stetzer Elementary School. And I'm gonna tell you why my concern is very important. If we have an Amber Alert or any of them kids are picked up, it's going to be chaos in this city. And that's unacceptable, the way folks are coming down here, setting up shops. I don't know what the process is, if they're getting back with you guys or, you know, are they doing their due diligence, but it's really getting out of control. It really is. My other concern, last Friday, and I can't say if that gentleman was from this city or not, but I basically know everyone in the city approached my students on Edgemont Avenue and had the audacity to come across the street and ask me for money. And he was strictly told to get off school property or I'm going to call the police and have you locked up. We have a lot of issues that's going on, just like any other area. But our community, we have to start speaking up. We got to start holding everybody accountable because it wouldn't happen in no other area. It wouldn't. And I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I know you guys are doing a great job of what you're doing, but it's, you know, it's unacceptable. And I can't even go into another story where a young man posed as an ADT worker and knocked on someone's door. Now, family members was called. That young man got out of that area. Family members were called. And I don't know what would probably have happened if they would have got a hold of him. These are some of the concerns that we're having. I'm all for the cars being towed and the clean-outs and the soccer fields and the games and stuff like that, but we got to deal with some of these real issues. We really do. And I'm not saying it's your issues, it's all of us working together. On Providence Road, on Sundays, it looked like Fishtown up there. Nothing but folks that's here for recovery, I'm all for it. And my hat goes off to the police department. They're doing a good job driving up there, but them guys are walking around like they own the town. We don't know if any of them are sex offenders or what crimes have they committed. I'm just asking that we do a great job and we communicate with our communities with what's going on. Thank you.
Mr. Laws, do you have the addresses or do you know the exact locations of
I'll
these
give them
four?
to you. I got pictures and everything.
That would be helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laws. Kearney Warren, Ms. Warren.
Good evening, Deputy
Good
Mayor
evening.
and council members. I'm going to try to be brief in this 3 minutes. A lot of people have spoke about what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the collapse of our infrastructure here, which is the public health, which is housing, jobs, and health care. We don't have a hospital with emergency care or trauma services. I spoke with a fire chief of a department in an area, and right now the wait at Riddle Hospital is about 15 hours. I spoke with a senator, was in a meeting with a senator from Delaware weeks ago, and he said that the hospital, Christiana Hospital, is already overburdened. We don't need an urgent care, we need emergency care. There is a outside organization that has posed an interest of opening a urgent care here. But when minutes matter, when heart attacks strike, when stroke begins, when mothers are in labor and complications arise, urgent care is not enough. Urgent care won't save us in these moments. We need trauma and emergency care. Delco is nearly 600,000 residents, the size of Baltimore City. So in putting that in perspective, losing its only hospital is what happened here. So it's as if we're told to figure it out, drive further, and just wait longer. So imagine people sitting in waiting rooms, and with this gentleman and the tragedy that happened, and there's tragedies that's happening every day, we are in a public health crisis. Also, housing. There is a housing crisis in Delaware County. There's a housing crisis in Chester. Myself and other residents have been helping people who are without housing. One woman and mother who lost her job because Crozier closed. She's afraid that she's going to lose her children. We have been pooling our money together to pay for hotel rooms and food. Miss Barbara Moore, she was brought to me on August 22nd. I've been helping her ever since I opened my home to her. Miss Moore is 82 years old. Miss Moore, before she was brought to me, was living in her car. This is not an isolated incident. It's only going to get worse. With the federal cuts, the budget cuts, the state cuts, the changes to SNAP, the changes to Medicaid, we are in a crisis. Our infrastructure is crumbling, and it's only going to get worse. I would like to know, what are we, Chester, local government, what are you going to do? I know, and I'm not talking about policies, I just mean for the people of Chester. Mr. Laws talked about the recovery homes. We know that wealthier communities, white communities, are protected. These recovery homes, and I know that people need to recover, I understand that, but they are taking the limited resources that we already have away from the residents here. And with that comes gentrification. We know that when you continue to dump on a overburdened, intentionally disinvested community, that gentrification is the next part. Quickly, I want to say if you're working with the Attorney General and the Governor for the hospital crisis. We have 4 demands that you ask, and you work with them to bring back eminent domain, to take back closed hospitals, that you create a statewide, or work with them to create a statewide public health care advocate to answer to our needs, not Wall Street. That they will help counties to reopen hospitals as public community serving hospitals for us, the people, and that they charge the profiteers, that they hold them criminally accountable for taking millions of dollars and closing our hospitals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. I know that there's been a large effort from the state, the county, and also the city in terms of our public health crisis. And it is something that the city is looking at in relationship with others. Our chief of staff, do you have any information or any updates on our situation with the public health? You know, anything from the county or the state?
Specific to the hospital?
Yes.
We haven't received an update lately, but there's been some progress with Taylor, which is in Eddystone. So there's an investor group. We've heard that there's some interested parties on the Crozier campus, but that all goes through the bankruptcy court and the bankruptcy judge, which is in Texas. So they're not providing us with updates, but we're trying to monitor the situation. So we'll continue to do so. But you're absolutely correct with the issues that you've mentioned. There's a lot to unravel there. You know, federal cuts that just trickle down to the state, to the county, to the local level. I mean, unfortunately, what we're talking about are resources. And with our bankruptcy and the lack of resources that we have, we're not really going to be able, let's be honest, to address all of those issues, especially with the cuts coming from the federal government. We're as concerned as you are with all of those cuts, because that impacts us with some of the federal funding that we receive. You know, our community development block grant money could be in jeopardy. We've got some lead prevention grants that we're going after to address the lead issues that we have in the city. But our concern is those federal cuts are gonna impact us just as deeply, more deeply here because of our financial situation than we would in any other community. So you're absolutely correct, but there's a lot there to, you know, to address that we just don't have the resources to address, unfortunately.
But we're still going to continue to do what we can to help those individuals here in Chester, because like yourself, there are individuals who come to me as well, and other members of council, for food, clothing, you know, housing, and whatever information we can provide, we do. I know there's a lot of cuts with housing and urban development that's trickling down to the Chester Housing Authority. So I am in dialogue with the Chester Housing Authority administration there to talk about our housing situation, you know. And Ms. Moore, I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through this, you know. I can ask, yes. I'll see you after the meeting, okay? Thank you.
Deputy Mayor West, I have something to, as a resource.
Okay.
There was a post made by Miss Tiffany Key at Chester Eastside Ministries that there was a grant available for mothers and children. The children had to be between the ages of 1 and 3. If you want information, please get in touch with her. I don't have her direct number as we sit here. You have it, but that resource is available, and I've seen a couple people receive assistance from Ms. Key. So that resource is available. Mother, children under 1 to 3 years old.
Afterwards. Are you going to be here after the meeting? Okay. Michelle Mosley.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I'm here regarding the alleyway between East 21st Street and East 22nd Street, in particular, the house at 228 East 21st Street. The tree in this person's yard is just overwhelming. The branches are coming across the alley to where I live at. And the leaves are going to be coming down, and it's just going to be a mess. And he has taken no responsibility. And so I just wanted to know, if the tree is in his yard, isn't he responsible to have that cut back?
Yes, he should be maintaining the tree in his yard, and anything that goes over into, is it your yard or?
It's coming across the alley, the whole alley.
The alley.
Yes.
Okay. Give me that address again, and
It's,
we'll see the director of L&I.
Okay, because I have sent letters.
Okay, to whom?
L&I.
L&I?
Yes.
Okay, well, this young lady over in the corner there, you can see her.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you. Harry Crawford.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. A couple questions. The first one is there any reason why the recyclable has not been picked up since before the holiday?
Well, when there's a holiday that falls, just like we had a holiday
Right.
last week that fell on a Monday, then when you have a holiday like that, then the recycle goes to the following week. There's no recycle. What they do, because everybody's off on that holiday, then that Tuesday, the trash pickup, regular trash pickup starts Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the following week is when your recycle is picked up. It's on the website as well.
But they have not picked up since before the holiday.
Oh, since before?
Right.
So you're saying the week before? Did you call it in?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Called it in on that Wednesday. I called again on Thursday. The following week, they didn't pick up because of the holiday. The next week, they didn't pick up.
So
And then
as of today, it
they
still
have not
hasn't
picked
been
up.
picked up? Okay.
I have actually 2 containers
Okay.
full.
Give me
Should I-
your address. Can I
Hmm?
have your address again?
3315 Carter Lane,
Okay.
right across from Murphy Ford, or what used to be Murphy Ford.
I'll make sure they get that tomorrow.
Okay, that whole area.
Mhm.
was not
And we'll
picked
make a call to the vendor.
up. Okay.
Okay?
In regards to the actual grass and the trash that people have talked about, back in, as I said, 2016 and also both 2016, y'all had passed ordinance. So all you have to do is to enforce the ordinance on people's grass, because inside the ordinance, it says, the owner of the property is the person responsible for actually cutting the grass and at the same time picking up the trash. So all they have to do is in turn do what they, or rather, our code enforcement have to do is enforce what's already there.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree. And so when you see that, if it's in your neighborhood, call it in to our licensing and inspection area, and the inspector will come out, and they should enforce the, what's in the ordinance.
Okay?
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Margaret Johnson.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
My name is Margaret Johnson. I live at 927 Booth Street, next to an alleyway. The entrance in both sides of the alley, which goes from Booth to Harwick, has very large holes. The city has filled it before, but because you don't have that machine, I think it was maybe before the pandemic.
The front-end loader or
That same
something
one.
like that. Mhm.
So, because the holes are so large, vehicles don't want to go into the hole, so they ride across my sidewalk, which is cracked up. And, I was sweeping one day, and I had to move so that the person could ride across. If you come, the trucks, everything, right across there, you'll see all the cracks in it right at the alleyway. And also, there's one part of the alley that meets my sidewalk on the alley side. The asphalt is gone. So it's dirt, which when it rains or if my neighbor's sump pump is working, because of the slope of the alley, I have pictures, it all settles right there. And I'm getting water in my basement. July, I believe it was the 10th, I sent an email to the email address that's posted to send for your streets department. No one answered my email. I spoke with Mr. Tibbles about it. He sent the information to someone in that department, no response. So I called and I spoke with, is her name Carter? Miss Caprice Carter?
Caprice Clark.
Clark, sorry, Miss Clark. She said she hadn't seen any of this information to email it to her. I sent it to her, waited a while. Called back, she said she had no information for me and that she sent it where it needed to go. Where that is, I don't know. But to date, no one has responded to the email that I sent and have been sending around since July the 1st. So like 2-3 days ago, I decided to find out, well, who runs the department? So I sent the email to that person. No response. Now, if Mr. Tibbles sent that information, I find that very disrespectful, that this came from your boss's office and everyone ignores it. I worked as a public servant for 35 years for the Department of Public Welfare. Had I done that to my clients, I would not be there. And I find it very disrespectful that no one has responded to my emails. Now, this situation, so far as the holds, have been going on for years and years and years. Like I said, the first time it was done, I believe it was prior to the pandemic. It needs to be done properly. And I see that some roads are being done. I need to be on that list. I need, well, not me particularly, but that alley needs to be on that list. That area where the water is seeping, it needs to be on that list. Now, I've lived here all my life, been a homeowner for 46, 47 years, pay my taxes all the time, on time. And if I didn't, I'm still due more respect than I'm receiving. So I would like to have that done.
I agree, and I'm sorry that happened to you. The Director of Public Works is here, and he and I will be there tomorrow.
What time?
I don't know what his schedule is like.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
clear.
if you look at the email, my
Okay.
phone number is on it.
Well, you know I have your number.
I know you do, but you know my phone number is on it. So
I have your
just
number.
let me know, and
I'll
I will
call you.
meet you. Thank you.
Anita Carrington. Hi, Miss Carrington.
One sitting up there, y'all know I'm Nalik's mom. I'm here today about my son and everything that's been going on since my son been home from the hospital. I've been living in Chester for September the 25th, and make 5 years I've been living out here. I do want to say I thank everyone out here for the support, the prayers, the whatever, however y'all supported my son. I want to say thank you, but we're not getting supported in the right way. Everything that we done received is okay and is all good. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment. This is something I don't want to say, but I need to say. I live in Daniel Scott. That's why I asked you, Mr. John, was y'all coming to Daniel Scott? I'm trying to back my tears. Was y'all coming to Daniel Scott? Because I've been living there. I don't complain. I'm not the one to complain, but it's nasty there. Everybody know 9th and Tillman, the apartments next to the gas station, is nasty. They don't come and clean it when they supposed to. We barely have maintenance men. My son been down in the hospital for 5 months. Within them 5 months, my apartment fell apart due to the rodents, due to, just nobody maintaining it. I have holes in my kitchen that we did not do. My son is a quadriplegic. He cannot move. He's sleeping with mice in his bed because the mice is coming through the walls. I have roaches. They're in my son's bed. My son is going through a lot. This is not something we need. We're not dirty. We do have a lot of things in our house. It's 4 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment. My son alone, just his medical equipment, take up our whole entire dining room. I had a cleaning. People have been coming into my home to help us clean. Not one person, but multiple families. I had a cleaning service just come to my house the other day. She said, you don't need nobody to come here and clean. Your house is not dirty. You have everything you need to keep it clean. My house is cluttered. Due to the clutter, we have nowhere to put things. So it's like they are just coming. The mice is just coming. They're in my son's stuff.
He have a lot of stuff. I don't care about the mice being in that stuff. I care about the mice being in my son's bed. Like, he can't move. He called me out my sleep. I'm thinking there's something wrong with him. I watched the mouse jump out my baby's bed. I don't know how long I can live there. I feel like when this happened to my son, everyone knew where I lived at. It was all over the news. It was all over everything. When my son came home, everyone knew where I lived at. Is someone out here trying to help us get housing? We do have housing, but we need to move in now. There's no way I can wait 4 weeks or any more weeks. We need to move in now. Another thing I'm gonna complain about.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
The place that you and I talked about that was pending?
Yes, that place right there. I need it now.
It's still...
It's still pending. They told me I had to wait for 4 weeks from the time I did the application, and that was, I went there August, wait, we in September, maybe August the, something. August, I'm gonna say the 19th. I went there, August the 21st, I'm gonna say. I went there, filled out the application, did everything. They said I got the place. The place is mine. I can tell you the address of the place that belongs to me. The place is clean. The place is good. I need to move in as soon as possible. I cannot wait no longer. If they need to know anything about me, I live in a low income already. They can get all the information from them. I need to move my child out ASAP. We watched the mice run around our apartment. Another thing I came to here to address, my son was hit by a car February the 4th. I came to City Hall to see how I can get help. Y'all helped me a lot, a lot. I won't take away nothing y'all helped me with. But what's not fair to me and to my son is y'all have something called victims' compensation. But that's only for stab victims and gunshot victims. My son was hit across the street where I live at. Nothing was accommodated for my child. I have a woman out here, Robin Freeman, collecting money on my son's name and did not give us a dime. We are in a struggle. I don't need none of this. I need help is what I need. We don't have nursing. I'm struggling with nursing. I'm a single mom. His dad is around, but I'm still a single mom because he works every day. So I'm left to take care of my child day in and day out by myself. I'm only human. I have 2 kids. My priorities go to Nalik because I have no help. I'm just getting help, but I should not have to be here talking about how much help I need for me and my child. When this happened in February, I'm not saying make a miracle for my son, but look into something more for my child. I'm not from this city, but I'm a resident of this city now. And y'all put y'all time into a lot of things. I'm not judging, it's none of my business what y'all do and how y'all trying to fix Chester. But can y'all help us? Me, Nalik, and Nadir, they are my 2 kids. Can y'all help us with what we going through? Because we're going through a lot. My child is paralyzed from the neck on down. He can't move nothing. He's on a trach ventilator. That means he's on life support every day of his life. I'm struggling as a parent to close my eyes to get sleep. Not because I don't have care, it's because every time I close my eyes, I see my son getting hit by a car. Yes, I was there. So to wake up every day and live a normal life, I can't. I can't. Because I still live across the street from where my son got hit by a car. So when I look out my window, not even trying to go outside, I still can see the place where my son got hit by a car. When my oldest son go to school every morning, I get me and my youngest son dressed to take him to the bus stop because there's no buses that will come get my son. That's another situation I'm here to address. My son got hit by a car because he was on SEPTA. No, he didn't get hit by a car because he was on SEPTA. He got hit by a car because that man was an ignorant MFer. That's why he got hit by a car. But I feel as though if more procedures is taken for these children that's living in the city of Chester, then everything will be cool. It's going to take for another kid to get hurt out there before somebody take action. All of these kids need a school bus to get back and forth to school. It don't matter where they live at. It should not matter where they live at. My son, my children could never catch the school bus because We live 0.9 miles from the school. We have to live 1 mile from the school. So 1 mile, 1 point stops my kids from getting on the school bus to get to in school safely. What's the other issue I wanted to address? I think I covered everything. The money about Robin Freeman, my housing, the bus situation, and how Daniel Scott need to be helped a little bit more. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
If I may, I'll just say a few things, and then I'll call up Nona Watson. We are aware of the conditions of Daniel Scott, and I know they are deplorable. I have been down there, even when Nali came home, when I went to drive around that circle, I was disgusted at the way that entire circle looked. I agree. I contacted the owner of Daniel Scott that day, and let me say, currently we are holding the owner of Daniel Scott accountable. He owns Daniel Scott and the Banneker's, two of the worst places in the city of Chester.
He just came.
And
literally, while my son was in the hospital, the man that you made us open to, he just got there while my son was in the hospital. So he's still trying to figure out what to actually do. He still called me in his office to get my phone number.
no, that's the maintenance. Now I'm talking about the owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm.
Owner.
No, y'all do.
We don't have an owner. Whoever you talk to is somebody portrayed to be an owner.
We are.
Well,
and I want Nona to come up and speak on the efforts.
let's have Nona come on.
Nona is the director of the Community and Economic Development, which L&I falls under, and she's taking the lead on holding the owners of Daniel Scott and the Benjamin Bannekers accountable.
And it's crazy because when I moved into Daniel Scott, this may have been a young lady that I talked to on the phone. I had to call L&I the first year I came there. Still to this day, me and my children, when we take a shower, every time the next person get in, we have to plunge it because the water is stopped up. You go outside on the side where the manager's office is, the whole side I live on get backed up. And when it get backed up, it backs up to my house. I don't mean to have everybody in my life business because y'all already in the luck for my business. But when you walk into my kitchen, the water come up from my towels. It's poop water. I hate cooking for my children because when I cook, it smells like poop. It's bad. I'm not the one to complain, but my son is bad off. He should not be living in a situation like that.
Good evening again. I just wanted to say, council member, you just said basically what I wanted to say, that we are working on these different complexes, Benjamin Banneker, and now this particular one. Where did she go? So that's okay. But I want you to know, beginning tomorrow, we will be out there, and we are going to take the steps we need to take for you and for all those who are living in those conditions. It is absolutely unacceptable. I want you to know that, okay? Okay. And in reference to your son, I'm sorry. Again, I'm pretty new to the neighborhood, so I'm hearing a lot of this for the first time. And I want to say I'm sorry for what has happened to your son. And I will commit to work with you and everyone here to see if we can get movement for you and your child. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carolyn Saunders.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Saunders, and I'm listening to all the complaints. And I feel like my complaint is small compared to most of what I've heard. I'm here at this meeting because I moved back in the city of Chester on July 15th. I called in the mayor's office. I spoke to the mayor's secretary, I don't know how many times, about the unit that I moved into. I moved, and I hear the young man talking about doing something on East 21st Street, and that's where I moved at, and have been constantly complaining. I asked for a city inspection to be done on the home. The city did come out, but I don't know anything of what they were going to do. My son moved me into the place, and he was the person who looked at the place. I was in the hospital at the time, and when I moved into the place, I realized right away that there was no way that the house that we were going to pay $1,700 a month for rent was for $1,700 because of the trash that was in the basement, trash in the yard, in the backyard. And as somebody was describing, trees that had limbs that were overlooking the property. For the last month or so, the owners have done very little into the house in order to correct all the problems. I had to call the county in order for the city to come in and do an inspection. I asked again from the city whether or not the owners had license to rent the home that I'm in. And it doesn't appear that it was. They haven't gotten an answer back from the city as to whether or not that house was inspected before I moved in. They sent someone out, and they did cut the branches from a tree that's set behind me. But right behind me, it looks like a dumping spot where people are constantly dropping trash. And then also, they have like garages that are in the back of the home. There's a pile of junk that keeps mice, as someone was saying, from coming into the house. I was really surprised when I first moved in to see all the cats in the neighborhood. But then after I moved in, I realized the cats should have been in the neighborhood because of all the mice that came into the residence. I have called every day, and what the owners have done is very little to the property. Also, these owners are out of New Jersey. And I wonder, you know, if these owners, these out-of-state owners that are doing work or many properties in the city of Chester, they're giving anything to Chester. Because it also sounds like these owners are not asking you to come and inspect these places before people move in. I'm here today because I'm tired. I'm really tired. My son helps me because I'm on Social Security. I'm like the lady there. I'm 82 years old. And I don't feel like fighting anymore. I used to be a community activist here in the city of Chester. And I'm tired. And I'm tired. And I felt that when I came back to the city of Chester, you know, this was a place that I really, really wanted to be in. I don't want to fight anymore. I said, but if I have to, then I'm willing to do that. In order for me to get a city inspector to come to that home, I had to call the county inspection. And that day, that city inspector came into the home, looked around, told me he was going to do something, but whatever he did, I have no knowledge of what they did or whether or not they contacted owners or not. I'm holding my portion of my rent. My son, who got the property for us, didn't know. All he saw was just beauty, I guess, on the inside, but he didn't see the trash that was in the basement and the mice that was also in the basement, or the property that was behind us that's creating the rats and the mice in our neighborhood. I also pointed that out to the city of Chester, and I don't know whether or not they have taken care of anything because nothing has been moved from the properties behind us. And I'm sure that all the houses on 21st Street are suffering because of the property. Ms. West, I even called your phone.
You did.
Yes. and I left a message. I've been calling all over the place since I've been here. And I don't know how many times I called the city of Chester. Your assistant to the mayor, is he here? Okay. Okay. I've talked to him a number of times, you know, and he's tried to help me. But, you know, I'm just a little bit tired, and I just feel as though the work that I did in the past should mean something, and I should have a decent place to stay.
I remember the work that you did. You and Bill Saunders.
Josephine.
Right. And Miss Nona's going to talk to you about that property.
Okay. Hi. How you doing?
Miss Saunders.
No.
What's the address? What's the address?
Say your address.
121 East 21st Street.
I'm not going to be long. I just want to address. What's your name again? What's your full name?
Carol.
I just want to address Miss Carol because I just speak with her last week as well. So she's been calling around. And I did send out an inspector that same day. And so we have a whole process. So know that it's going through the process. And usually we go ahead and deal with the landlord. So it may not go directly back to the person that actually made the complaint. But I want you to know that that same day that I spoke with you, I had an inspector to go out and check it out. And it is moving forward. Now, I will say that I had your name on the Post-it because I wanted to call you back to tell you what I had done, just personally because you spoke with me, but I lost the Post-it, full transparency, and I couldn't call you back. So that's why I wanted to get up to let you know that the work that the inspector did go out, okay? And if, but for the, go ahead.
I just want to ask one thing.
Mm-hmm.
When these owners take over and they're out of the state of New Jersey, how does the city get any money for these owners at this point? Because it seems like when they're out of the state of Pennsylvania, they're just doing anything, you know, with the properties. I'm listening to people talk about that. You know, what does the city have over these owners that are out of state?
Well, I want to say the first thing is we are trying to get good contact information on these owners so that we can hold them accountable. So there are different programs and services that we are working. I'm sorry. Thank you. There are different programs and services that we are working on to make sure that we hold them accountable and actually to make sure that if they don't live in the state that they have someone that's actually here that can speak for them and we can hold them accountable. And I think you're absolutely right. There has to be some kind of a fee attached to, you know, how we deal with them and what they don't do. So, but as for you, know that we did not forget you and we're moving forward. You're welcome.
Because at one point, the city used to have a city withholding program, you know, for residents that put their money into city withholding. Is that still in place? Or
I don't know if the rent withholding, that was the rent withholding program that was established. The rent withholding program that was established back in the, I think around 70 or 71, something like that. I don't know if there's still a vehicle or a venue. No, so the answer is no.
Doesn't the county have an escrow where they can take their money and put it?
I don't know what the county has, but the city does not have.
I believe the county has something where you can put your money in escrow. So I will call there to find out who could assist you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to.
You're welcome.
Melissa Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here representing my cousin, Nathan, my little cousin, my baby cousin, Nathan Blackwell, who was murdered by the Chester police on Friday around 6:30 p.m. I want to ask, what is the protocol that a report, the time frame that a report has to be made? Because in the city of Philadelphia, I work for the mayor for the city of Philadelphia. In the city of Philadelphia, it's by the end of the shift. There's still no report. If he was arrested, or if he committed a crime, a police, am I correct, would have escorted him to the hospital? I've been there every day. It has never been a police. And when someone commits a crime, even if they are paralyzed, even if they are fatal, a police officer, and I know this for a fact, even if they're in the operating room, if they're under custody, a police officer is always present. Always. There has never been a police officer at that hospital. There's still no report. This happened Friday. Today is what, Wednesday? How many shifts have been changed? Where is the report? So you already spoke, but I'm speaking now. And let me tell you, my cousins always say to me, I'm the only cousin out of all of them that can't physically fight. But I'm telling you, I am going to fight for my cousin. You can do your investigation, and I respect it. Because why isn't these officers suspended until this investigation is completed? Why are they still able to work, and I have to bury my cousin? And they have constantly been harassing them. 30 minutes before they came to my uncle's house, they pulled my other cousin over and said he had a stolen car. My cousin had to call the Enterprise Center for them to verify that the car was not stolen. And then they said, well, you got drugs in it. The Enterprise Center said, they just left 2 minutes ago. They're constantly being harassed. And I honestly feel like, they came from the South to escape this kind of treatment. I feel like I'm an ancestor and I'm fighting this all over again. We're going backwards. There's no way that I should be burying a 32-year-old. He was in your custody. You put handcuffs on him. It was no reason for that kind of force because he was already retained. Okay? So he was in your custody, so I feel like the Chester police is responsible for his death. So I'm not gonna hold you, and I'm not coming to be disrespectful, but my name is Melissa Williams. I don't come to Chester often, but I will be in Chester until justice is served. Thank you.
Okay, are there any comments from council at this point? Any, okay, well, this meeting is adjourned.